Hello friends, it's astrologer Isroch. Do subscribe the channel, hit the bell icon in order to receive the notifications for the upcoming videos, and share the videos and podcast on Vedic astrology as much as possible, and get an amazing free access to an amazing content on Vedic astrology, to the research-based content on Vedic astrology. And this is the series of Ketu, placement of Ketu in different houses and the results of Ketu in different houses in case of different ascendants. And we have reached to Leo ascendant chart. Before proceeding to the impact of Ketu in the Lagna, let's have a general overview about Ketu. See, Rahu and Ketu, they have been considered malefic planets in Vedic astrology, so they'll never give any benefic results. When the planet's malefic, it won't give any benefic result, isn't it? This is a logical, and this is the fact. That's an undeniable fact, isn't it? This is an undeniable fact. Practically, I have seen many clients, I have given consultation to many clients that uh, were facing problems due to Ketu placed in first house, and I have given remedies, proper remedies to the natives accordingly, and they have received benefits, positive response. I have positive response from the clients. So Ketu is malefic planet. It will never give benefic results to any native, and the impact becomes more deadly when the Ketu itself is afflicted by a malefic planet. For example, in case of Leo ascendant chart, if Ketu is afflicted by moon, in such case Ketu becomes more problematic, isn't it, to every ascendant. And if Ketu is placed in sixth house, if Ketu is placed in eighth house, if Ketu is placed in the 12th house, its malefic impact increases. It becomes double malefic in such cases. So these things we have to see. And if Ketu aspects major planets in the horoscope, that's also a challenge for the native, and that is also to be analyzed whether it's defined, the key aspects of Ketu in a horoscope, they are defined or not. If they are defined, so remedies have to be done, and the person will be disturbed. He'll be mentally disturbed. The native will be mentally disturbed if there is a substantial impact of Ketu in the Lagna, because the impact of Ketu will be malefic. It will not be benefic at all. So now in the case of this, especially we have a rule that Ketu absorbs, and Ketu takes the characteristics of the house in which it's placed. If it's placed in the 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, it catches rather the characteristics of the house, of these houses, and of the first house as well, if catch. And when it is, when it absorbs, when it takes the characteristics of the first house, and when it does not, that is the subject matter of an astrologer's job, and that only the astrologer knows whether its impact is evident in the birth chart or not, and that needs to be analyzed at large. So let us now proceed systematically, one by one, stuff wise, what is the impact of Ketu and how to analyze the impact of Ketu, and whether the impact is there, and what will be the result of Ketu in case of Leo ascendant chart. So in this case, first of all, we have to see the strength of sun. If the sun is strong, because the lord of Ketu in this case will be sun. Ketu has not its sign, its specific sign. It does not have any sign at all, because these are shadowy planets. Both are malefic, Ketu and Rahu and Ketu. But these don't possess any specific sign like Aries, like Scorpion, other than. So in this case, we have to see the lord of Ketu, sun, its strength. If sun is strong, the impact of Ketu will be controlled to some extent. And we have to see the strength of other planets in the chart as well, in order to analyze, to determine the impact of Ketu in the native, in case of Leo ascendant chart, isn't it? Now, as I have said, that in case the sun is weak, the native will be mentally disturbed. He'll be mentally retarded. He'll face mental problems. He'll face himself lost, isn't it? The native will face himself lost, and he'll be detached. He'll get detached from the general relationships. It's impossible for him to talk to anyone. If he talks, he does not give any response at all. He faces setbacks in business partnership. His business partnerships receive setbacks, isn't it? He faces setbacks in marital life, isn't it? He faces problems with respect to investments. His investments, they become hidden. He does not get any something out of investments. And with respect to general fortune as well, he faces problems. It depends on the strength of the planets in the chart, so far as the impact of Ketu is concerned. And broadly, we categorize the impact of Ketu in two categories. One is long-lived impact of Ketu. Second is short-lived impact of Ketu. When we say long-lived impact of Ketu, it's irrespective of uh, its time period. In other words, it's irrespective of the Mahadasha of Ketu. It's irrespective of Antardasha of Ketu, isn't it? It means that the Mahadasha or the Antardasha of Ketu is not in operation, but still the native faces problems due to Ketu. This is a deadly and challenging problem. It's evident that the native is not in the operation of in the time period is not in the operation of time period of Ketu. He's not under the influence of time period of Ketu. It's evident to the native. He himself sees that the Mahadasha of or the Antardasha of Ketu is quite away, but still he faces impact from the Ketu, isn't it? So that's a challenging problem in such cases. What to do? There are specific remedies depending on the specific problem, depending on the nature of the chart. So the challenging side of the coin is the challenging situation is that when the impact of Ketu is long lived, it's irrespective of its Mahadasha or its Antardasha, and the impact is mentally retarded. What I have said, he faces problems in the marital life, setbacks in the business partnerships. He faces setbacks in the love affairs also, isn't it? So medically, he faces urine infection also. He faces spinal issues also, and acidity in stomach also, isn't it? These are the major issues. But the relative strength of other planets to be taken into consideration, that's also important. The impact of Ketu to be analyzed in a chart depends on the relative strength of other planets. In this case, the strength of Jupiter, the fifth house lord, the strength of the seventh house lord, strength of the you know ninth house lord, that will determine also the impact of Ketu in such case. But so far as the long-lived impact of Ketu is concerned, it will have its impact irrespective of its time period. The impact will be that the native is subject to fevers, ulcers, multiple bowels, stomach disorders, injuries, accidents also, spoils relationship that I have mentioned, and these are the impact that one faces in case of long-lived impact of Ketu. And so far as the short-lived impact of Ketu concerned, for short-lived impact of Ketu, it's a situation in a chart when Ketu does not create any problem to the native. It creates problem only when its time period is in operation. When the time period of Ketu is in operation, for example, it's Mahadasha, it's Antardasha, then only the problems by Ketu are pronounced in a chart. And the native starts facing the problems for Ketu uh, as the time period of Ketu sets in, as the Antardasha or the Mahadasha of Ketu sets in. Without the time period, the native does not feel any problem. The native does not face any problem. And these are the two cases that I have mentioned: long-lived impact, short-lived impact. And both are practically viable, and they have been faced by the natives, and I have dealt with the natives whom I have given consultation to. I have seen many cases, multiple cases where the situation have. So far as the marital and divorce is concerned, this is quite deadly placement for such cases. It leads to divorce so far as long lived impact is concerned. marital relationships. So the divorce becomes a general thing. So that is to be analyzed. Now another side of the coin is that the another side of the coin is that the transit impact. If we have to see the placement of Ketu in the transit, and whether the transit impact is on the natal, when the transit Ketu afflicts the planets planes placed in the birth chart, isn't it? Whether the impact of transit Ketu is on the birth chart, the affliction is taking place from birth transit chart to birth chart, from transit to transit, from birth chart to transit chart, what we call triple transit. That becomes quite challengeable for the native. So that's quite a deadly situation for most of the natives. And I recommend all the natives, all the Leo ascendant natives, to remove cat's eye. Please and please remove cat's eye, because it will always create problem for you. It will never be beneficial for you. And uh, so far as the first house placement, any placement is concerned, remove do remove cat's eye, because it will not give fruitful results to you. You have been facing these problems that I have mentioned due to cat's eye, whether it's red cat's eye, whether it's green cat's eye, whether it's yellow cat's eye. You have been facing problems due to that. So it's my recommendation to remove cat's eye, and uh, try to focus on the remedies for keto rather than wearing it gemstone, because its malefic influence will increase after wearing cat's eye. That won't decrease at all. So this is all about this post course. Thank you.